Welcome to today's Explainer. Today, we're putting a massive magnifying glass over a tiny, seemingly insignificant piece of internet media. We're going to perform a forensic micro-deconstruction on a transcript that is exactly, and I mean exactly, 14 words long. The sheer amount of digital chaos, algorithmic confusion, and total mystery packed into this tiny space is just absolutely staggering. So if you've ever wondered how the machines behind our screens actually process the rapid-fire content we consume every single day, well, you are definitely in the right place.
Jazz the collar wine all green, yang como el verde, wins el green. Yeah, let that sink in for a second. I read that exactly as it was transcribed, with absolute deadpan seriousness, because, believe it or not, this isn't some piece of abstract poetry. It's not an avant-garde script. This is the raw, unedited, officially generated transcript from a piece of modern digital media. It's completely bewildering, right? It literally reads like a secret code, or maybe a machine just having a total linguistic meltdown. And to understand how we got this glorious absurdity, we really need to look at the exact source artifact that produced it.
Okay, let's dive into this. Treat this origin point like a bizarre digital archaeological find. This source, created by a channel named Dalton James, is titled Oddly Satisfying Guess the Color TikTok number 6. We're dealing with a cross-platform piece of media here, originally a TikTok, that was then repurposed for YouTube. The premise of the content, based purely on this title, is a super straightforward game. You guess the color, and supposedly, the visual execution is going to be oddly satisfying. But as we just heard, what the automated transcription bot actually processed was anything but straightforward.
To really grasp the environment this transcript was born into, let's think about the tags attached to it. We've got hashtag shorts and hashtag satisfying. Now these tell us exactly what genre of internet media we're examining here. This is hyper-fast, vertically formatted, highly stimulating content that's custom designed for endless scrolling. And you know, the satisfying tag usually implies perfect visual symmetry, smooth motions, or maybe an ASMR-like visual completion. The irony here is just incredibly thick. It's meant to be a soothing or perfectly aligned visual experience, yet it spat out a transcript that is chaotic, fragmented, and just completely misaligned with reality. So how did the machine get it so spectacularly wrong?
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly where the breakdown begins. Just compare the actual name of the game, Guess the Color, with what the algorithm's automated ear actually heard, which was Jazz the Color. It's a fantastic phonetic breakdown when you think about it. If you say guess the color incredibly fast, layer on some heavy audio compression, throw in background music, and add a lot of that digital noise typical of short-form video, the syllables just smash together. The g and sus sounds morph right into the j and z of jazz. The color gets completely warped into the caller. The algorithm is desperately trying to map human speech patterns onto highly compressed, fast-paced audio, and it completely hallucinates a phrase about telephoning a jazz musician.
But you know, the machine doesn't stop there. Moving right along to the next fragment, we get Wine-L green, young. Suddenly, out of absolutely nowhere, an actual color appears, green. But it's totally surrounded by phonetic shrapnel. Wine-L, like, is it trying to say winda? Is L just a misheard article? And then, inexplicably, the word yang is just sitting there all by itself. There is absolutely no context for the word yang in a color guessing game. What we're witnessing here is the algorithm's confidence rating dropping all the way to 0. It is literally just grasping at random dictionary words that sort of match fleeting sound waves in the audio track.
Now, what's really interesting here is the sudden, truly bizarre linguistic shift. We start out with this strange Spanglish blend, el green, and wins el green. It's mashing up the Spanish article el with the English noun green. But then, right in the middle of all this confusion, the transcript spits out como el verde, which is pure grammatically correct Spanish. The transcription software is quite literally having an identity crisis. It's as if the audio was so incredibly ambiguous that the system just started hot-swapping between its English language model and its Spanish language model in real time, just desperately trying to make sense of the noise.
Just to make sure we're all on the same page here, let's break down the exact definition of that phrase. Como el verde translates directly to like the green. So through all of this wild algorithmic hallucination, this frantic jumping between languages, and all the phonetic scrambling, there is a distinct, almost obsessive focus on the color green. Even when it completely switches over into a different language model, it's still talking about green. It is such a fascinating glimpse into how a machine learning model tries to maintain a thread of context, even when it fundamentally misunderstands almost every word being spoken.
Which brings us to the grand finale of our 14-word story. Out of the absolute chaos of jazz callers, random yangs, and bilingual buffering, the text actually resolves with a definitive climax: wins El Green. It's the ultimate victory. Despite the complete mangling of the audio track, the transcript somehow manages to correctly identify that the game is concluded and that the color green is the victor. Honestly, it's a strangely poetic ending to an oddly satisfying video. The algorithm fought through all that noise, mashed two different languages together, and still against all odds delivered the final score.
So what should we actually take away from all of this? What does a 14-word chaotic transcript really tell us about how algorithms hear us in these digital spaces? Well, it shows us that just beneath the sleek, visually satisfying surface of short-form media, the underlying systems trying to index, transcribe, and understand our world are often really struggling to keep up. It reveals the incredibly fragile nature of machine translation and automated captions when they're faced with human speed and audio compression. The next time you're scrolling through a quick video, I want you to think about this unseen digital translation. What hilarious linguistic gymnastics are the algorithms performing right beneath your screen just to figure out what was said? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and remember to keep your eyes and your ears wide open in the digital world.